Good morning. If you're watching us live, good morning. If not, good whatever time of the day it is. If it's 11 a.m. on Sunday, then you're watching this live. And welcome to the Medium channel, where we bring you the spirituality behind the message. And there's a lot going on. Going to jump right on in today. Firstly, just a little tidbit of astrology. There's a lot of shifting energy, and I believe Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. I didn't look at the ephemeris, that Mars gets out of Scorpio and goes into Sagittarius. So Mars is energy in action. So when it's in Scorpio, Scorpio is really the sign, almost like of the undercurrents, like transmutation and evolution and stuff like that. So Mars and Scorpio, things can be held under the surface. It can be very secretive, but now Mars is joining the Sun and Mercury in Sagittarius, which is the straight shooter. So things are likely to start coming out, and then there's something else. Oh, Venus is going retrograde. Yes, that's happening, I believe, on Sunday. So, when planets go retrograde, we're sort of being called upon to take a step back and go a little bit inward, or review things based on the meaning of the planet. Now, Venus is in Capricorn, and Venus tends to be, amongst other things, it's sort of like the pleasures in life. It's like love, money, and beauty and art and stuff like that. So, again, it's a sign of really going inward. There's a lot that's changing. The energy's really changing a lot. A lot of us are feeling it. I did, here on YouTube as well as on Facebook and Instagram, I talked about my experiences yesterday morning, and I'm still feeling it. So the energy's really ratcheted up a notch. And there's other things that are going on. Now, Sharita is on. Sharita Starr is our expert astrologer, numerologist, that works with me. And we're going to be doing actually an event on Tuesday. I'll for stuff like that, I'll have the info like in the comments when this becomes a video. But you can check her out. She has a lot of detail of what's going on, and what's likely to be transpiring in 2022. Also, Armand Diaz in Integral Astrology does a weekly astrology forecast. He's on YouTube. Sharita comes on my channel sometimes, and she's on Facebook and other social media. So let's jump right into it. I like to do maybe a little mini tutorial on the tarot some mornings. I just was thinking about major arcana, minor arcana this morning. So I figured I'd speak on that a little bit. The major arcana, that's the cards like the strength card, that was right on the bottom, and the moon card, that was right next to it. So that's what major arcana, in this deck, what major arcana cards look like. Minor arcana are like the court card, like the Page of Cups, or let me get a happier card than that one to show you. I'm looking for oh, here we go. This is a very happy card, or like the Ten of Pentacles. Basically, major arcana is really about consciousness and energy, and minor arcana, very generally speaking, that is more about activities in life. So if you're doing spreads, or if you get a reading and you see a lot of the major arcana cards come up, there's likely to be a lot of shifting in consciousness, and that tends to be what it represents. And each card is sort of like a portal unto itself into another aspect of higher reality or higher dimensions. So there's 22 major arcana cards. There's 22 paths in the Kabbalistic glyph, the Tree of Life, also. So there's a direct correspondence there, and the modern playing cards evolved out of tarot cards that were went to a game called Taroki, actually, and I think it began in King Ferdinand II's court in Spain. Although I may have my history a little bit off, but I believe that's where it came from, through an artist named Bonifacio Bembo. But anyway, long story short, the major arcana survived in the playing decks is the Joker. So that's the Fool card. But there's 22 in the tarot. There's only one in playing card. So anyways, that's what I have about that. So let's dive right in. Thank you, Sharita. Mercury is leaving Sag just after Mars enters it. So that will change things as well. Thank you. Yes. So you can count on Sharita to give us the lowdown on numerology, lexicograms, and astrology. So what's next on the agenda? Let's pull a meditation card for us, for this group. And, again, the energy is really changing. I think I'm experiencing an upgrade myself. And tonight, by the way, if you guys are available at 7 o'clock, we're going to do an activation. My guides work through me, and as we join in meditation, they're able to activate. So it's light code activations. We come into an annual portal right around the 12th. Part of it's numerological, 1212 into 1221. So those are both 3-3, 1221, 1212. As soon as we hit the solstice, like this is the darkest period of the year. So right, from today, I started feeling it yesterday, but from today, the portal to an aspect of consciousness that isn't as readily available starts to open up during these darkest days. And although the solstice is the darkest day, the shortest day of the year, once we hit the solstice, there's an etheric light that I started to notice as a teenager before I was even into any of this stuff. And I would wonder, like why does the sun just seem brighter on the 21st of December? And there's an energetic, I can't explain it because it's not physical. I mean, the sun technically is the lowest on the horizon. It's going to be all year. So it's technically darker than it's going to be all year. But it shined with this new light. And that's like the solar new year. So these days leading up to the solar new year, we can go very deep into collective consciousness and really start to change, really start to clear some old stuff out and get ready for a very, very powerful 2022 coming up. And there's a lot showing up in the astrology and numerology that shows that 2020, 2021 were really the warm-ups. 2022, probably into 2024, 2025 is like the main show. So we've been having a lot of awakening, a lot of shifts. Things are coming out. And by the way, anybody that's affected or we're all affected by anything that goes on the planet, prayers to Southwest Kentucky and Arkansas and Southern Missouri and Southern Illinois and everywhere that was affected by what meteorologists are saying was probably the longest tracking tornado in modern history. They can trace the path over 200 miles for a tornado, and it was probably at least a mile wide and probably an EF5, high-end EF4, EF5. Very, very significant storm. And I do my Ascension updates. A lot of you know that. One of the things, although I always sort of joke and say, you don't have to be psychic to know this, but one of the things that I said was expect really crazy weather in December. And that December's not known as a tornado month. So anyways, a lot is changing, a lot is shifting. And for now, that once we enter these portals, and I'm going to actually be doing 3 different activations, one tonight, one on the full moon on the 18th. I think it's the 18th or the 19th. It's Saturday night, and then Sunday the 19th. Okay, I have my dates right. I'm going to do live mediumship here on the channel, and then the 21st we're going to do our solstice light code activation and energy transmission. So a lot going on here. We're here to assist you in your awakening process. That's why I started this channel. That's what we're here for. And this is a very important 9 days that are coming up where we have the opportunity to really shift into a new level. So this is a good time for shadow work. Check out the shadow work video that just came out a couple of weeks ago on the channel. It's basically a mini class for free here on the channel. And shadow work integration is really about clearing like the old programs, the false beliefs, things that are hidden that are interfering with, sabotaging, diminishing our lives and diminishing our power. So when we do the shadow work, we reintegrate our soul parts back into our heart, back into the totality of our being, and then we claim our power. And that's what it's all about. So this is a really, really good time to do it. We need to be, on our best behavior. That's what I'm hearing from Spirit in 2022, but really true to ourselves, true to our path. It's not a time to be a people pleaser. I've done that my whole life. When it's doing the shadow work is changing that. And we really need to stand in our truth. And it's okay to create tension, but don't look for it. Stay in your own power. As Sharita likes to say, stay in your own lane and stay in the eye of the storm. That's where we're the most effective. So I broadcast to the world in the eye of the storm here in my little space here in Phoenicia, New York. So that's what we're doing here. And let's pull our meditation card for the week now. And this is for our group, our collective. Yeah, that's if you're here live or watching this later, you're still part of the group. And I had a feeling I was going to get a major arcana today. I usually do, even though there's only 22 major arcana and 56 minor arcana. And the Justice card, that's in modern tarot, that's key 11. In the ancient tarot, it's actually key 8. And conversely, the Strength card, which we see as key 8, is actually key 11 originally. And then I think, I don't know when, but some scholars of the tarot thought that they got those in reverse. But since and Sharita knows a lot more than me, but since in Chaldean numerology, the number 11 is the lion muzzle with the clenched fist. The lion's on the Strength card, key 8, not on the Justice card, key 11. So anyway, just a little technical knowledge. But the idea of meditating with the tarot card is you just kind of, get present. Anytime you do meditation, the idea is to get present, and then you vibrate at a higher frequency and connect with Spirit that way. And then in your mind, this is like a doorway. You step into the scene. Maybe you meet this figure, but you see a whole panoramic view, and you start to meet your guides or your helpers, or feel the energies or get messages. But the idea is to step into the card. The Justice card is the sign Libra. It's about it has some qualities of the planet Venus as well as the planet Saturn. It's about finding that balance, finding that equilibrium. So that's why it has the scales and the sword. The sword, everything's backwards on my screen on StreamYard, but so that's why I'm like, which way do I go? But the sword here is, and it's pointing up. So that's, when swords point up, it's like taking truth from above or energy from above and bringing it down below. So, anyways, and yes, Claire, thank you. Please hit the like button and let's send this out to the YouTube universe and help other people. So anyway, so I'll let you guys see that. So if you have your own cards, by all means, take the Justice card out, do a little daily meditation, see what messages. That could be in Egyptian mythology, the god Mahat, which is about justice. It can be about karma. Karma is law also, so it's about law too. That's has a lot to do with Saturn as well, I think. Anyway, so we get the idea. So the next step is a little 3-card spread that'll be you kind of like an energy update for the coming week. Sort of pick you up on the mood, the trends, and stuff like that. I forgot what it was, but there's something that came out last week that definitely came out this week. I don't even remember what it is. Long and the short of it is, I mean, they're called predictions for a reason. Not every prediction I make is going to come true. It's a point of reference. Timelines are fluid. As collective consciousness changes, what we create in our outer world is going to change also. So that's why it's called divination. It's a way of receiving wisdom and understanding the energies and the patterns of energies, the fractal patterns of the universe, and how our consciousness now is likely to play out in the future. Now, it's also expressed in the stars and the numbers. But as we change our consciousness, we can start to we'll say adjust the future. Some things are have already been put in motion that need to play out in a certain way, but as we change our vibration, it can change the general nature of what's going to happen down the road. So I often say when it comes to these earth changes and the ascension or the great awakening, whatever word you want to give to this monumental period of evolution that we're in, we could do this the easy way or we could do this the hard way. The easy way is to step back and to open up spiritually and to own your power and own your truth. The hard way is to stick with the status quo that hasn't worked for your entire lifetime, but because it's familiar, the human ego wants to latch on to what's familiar because it's a survival instinct. So we have to really learn how to be present and step out of our own egos and step more into our spirit. And then we can co-create with God, co-create with the universe. And this transition into higher consciousness doesn't have to be doom and gloom, but prepare for the worst, hope for the best is always my advice with that. And full moon. It's got to be in Gemini, right? Because we're of course at 27 degrees Gemini. So it's got to be the later degrees Gemini because we're in the later degrees Sag Sun when it happens. Yes. All right, so 3 cards for us and everybody, that we're connected to, which is everybody. So I need to just quiet my mind for a second and ask spirits. I needed the right cards this morning. And they're just saying, you know what, the less you think about it, the better it is. So I just didn't think about it. This is telling a story for sure. Interesting. That's my only word for this. Interesting, because it gives me the feel of being very kind of internal energy. And, it's like, we're in a waxy moon, especially from the first quarter to the full moon, tend to be a really, really high energy action time. But the cards are more about feeling more internal. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that we're really in the depth of the solstice season now. And we have to honor the night. So, we start out with the 4 of Pentacles. 4s, 8s, and 2s, they're all like kind of yang numbers. I hate to even say male numbers, but yang numbers. And that 4 and that 8 together, it's sort of Saturn and Mars kind of ganging up with the reflective moon sort of beaming back our own energy back at us. So the 4 of Pentacles likes to hold on to things. That's why the figure's kind of holding up. Yes, everything's backwards on the screen in StreamYard. So he's kind of holding on, but then in this card, it's kind of like leaving all those cups. So the Pentacles kind of turn to cups, and instead of holding on, the figure's like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to higher terrain. I'm going to see what's on top of that butte, and I'm going to travel in consciousness. Maybe there's something better. Maybe the governments and the corporations isn't all that it's cracked up to be. Maybe there's more to it than that. Maybe there's something a deeper message with what's been happening with the world affairs and the pandemic and everything. Maybe there's other ways of dealing with it. Maybe working with consciousness or working with spirit and changing our vibration can actually strengthen our immune system or give us more energy to create change. So the idea here, and then the Two of Swords is a very reflective. That's no, that's not Saturn and Libra. That's the Three of Swords. I forgot the deacon for the Two of Swords. Something in Libra. I have a feeling maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's Venus and Libra. I don't know. But in any event, this is the only one that's reversed. On one hand, with the Two of Swords, it's almost like the psychic antennas are up. So receiving a lot of information from spirit. There's blindfold. So when we have the blindfolded cards, there's less of a willingness to see things, and and then the arms are crossed over the heart. So sometimes it's like it reminds you that see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Basically, we just can't be silent in today's world. Um, yeah, we have to express ourselves. It's not healthy to hold things, and especially now when everything's changing. And I think that's what this card is trying to tell us, that a lot of us, me included, had these shadow aspects from childhood. Like either we didn't get enough attention or we were criticized a lot, but we develop these behavior patterns to avoid tension and become people pleasers. And through depending on how you're raised, that you may develop like strong sensitivity, like I had to be very kind of aware of my parents' moods. It's kind of a survival thing, like know if I need to just kind of avoid them or when I can interact. So the point being is that when we had these experiences growing up, sometimes we avoid tension because we're empathic. We don't want to feel bad vibes from other people. And I've been more guilty of this than the average person, so I can really speak on it from my own experiences. We just cannot be that way. That's why the shadow work is so important. We have to stand in our truth. We have to stand in our power. And that doesn't mean, to go out there and be a militant or whatever, but speak your truth. And I mean, certainly there's times that silence is the best course of action. But if you're afraid to create tension, you're not going to know the difference. Like you're not going to know whether this is the time to hold my tongue versus I'm too scared to speak up because I don't want to feel the negative energy of this person. We're not going to know that until we're willing to speak up and willing to create tension in order to communicate what we need to communicate and in order to help people. So hopefully that makes sense. But I really feel like this is what this is telling us. Like, time to stop holding on to the old. If anybody still is, there's just no normal to go back to. We're crafting a new normal here on the earth, and we have opposing forces at work here. You could say good versus evil, light versus dark, or whatever. But whatever the case, there's those that are embracing evolution and embracing change versus those that are afraid of it. And some of those, it's not necessarily afraid of it, but some of the powers that control the world really stand to lose a lot because they lose control of the corrupt flow of money, the corrupt flow of power, and all that kind of stuff, which I'm not going to go into a whole lot of depth, but I know a lot of you understand it or are on the same page as that. So, this can also be a card of doing a little bit of spiritual retreat. I feel like Spirit's saying for all of us, practice some silent meditation, or even maybe like a day that you're off, take like a 24-hour vow of silence where you don't say a word, you don't check your Facebook. And it's like that's kind of like me, like try not to check my Facebook. I'm like, no, I can't do it. It's like, so go through the withdrawal symptoms if you need to, but I feel like this is one of the things that is telling us is like, we need a break from all the noise out there. We sometimes with all the distractions in the world and all the news and all the fear and all that stuff, we really forget who we are. And I feel like this is telling us in this time leading up to the solstice, this is our time to know who we are again, to reconnect with ourselves, reconnect with our heart. Because this card's reversed. So the effect of our hearts being crossed and being afraid to feel because we felt so much pain in our lives, and we don't want to be empathic and feel the suffering of the world. You know what? It's inevitable. It's better to feel than to not to feel. And because when you start to feel, then you can start to feel love and compassion. And when you start to feel that, you start to match the frequency of the quantum field or God. It's interesting because science is actually proving scientifically that God is love. What have they been saying for thousands of years? But now it's like, yeah, we can measure the quantum field according to Great Brain, and it's not a question of whether this field of energy exists, the force, chi, prana, yeah, this layer of energy that connects the physical with the spiritual. Now it's more of a matter of trying to understand what it is and trying to measure it. And they're finding the human heart, when it's in elevated emotions, gratitude being the key, and compassion and appreciation being keys, you start to match the frequency of the quantum field, which is God. So God is love, and we access God through the heart. And when we open our heart, then we can open our higher chakras and connect to spirit that way, by not disengaging the lower chakras, but by being also in our lower chakras, being in our human as well as being in our spiritual, and they meet at the heart center. So the message for us is really, to step back, this week, and to get it, double down on our spiritual practices, prepare spiritually and energetic for the changes, because I send specific signals out into the universe around this channel. I mean, I'll always get all kinds, but the signal is like I want to attract the other light workers and way showers, the people that are ready to really make the changes, really ready to make the leap, and to at least make a difference in their own lives. It's not in collective consciousness itself. So I'm really put the energetic beacon for those that are starting to awaken, that really need, somebody who's been doing this a long time, who lives their truth, who doesn't just talk the talk, but walks the walk, and is genuine, because a lot of charlatans are out there also as well. There always have been, and that's part of the spiritual path. I've been taken more than once. I learned and I grew. So if you do follow somebody that turns out to be a charlatan, it doesn't make you stupid or a bad person. It's just that your spirit is engage you into learning this lesson. So learn the lesson and trust your heart. So again, once you start to do your shadow work and clear all the stuff, and you start to open up your vibration, open up your heart, which opens up your mind, which opens you up to spirit, you'll know if who's real and who isn't, like who's on the level or who's just trying to get your time, attention, or money, or control you, or whatever. So they're really saying, a little bit of a retreat. As far as world events go, I just feel like they're saying, same old, same old. But yeah, as I'm looking at this card, I'm just seeing Biden and Fauci. I think they're coming under a lot of heat this week. I think that's already starting, to be quite honest. I read something in my news feed this morning about Biden's approval rating being lower than it's ever been. I don't know. Does that mean it went into the negative numbers? Oh, okay, I'll stop. But in any event, don't hold on, and I have a feeling also that there may be, I think I said this last week too, that there may be some news about some of the newer types of investments, Bitcoins or crypto. There's a couple of other ones that may be changing. So, it feels to me like stay abreast of things, and it might be, especially if your investments is at a little bit of a higher plateau, maybe time to cash that in. I feel like they're saying have a little bit of like money, like real cash, on hand also over the next couple of months. So anyway, that's what I get for that. So I want to do a Native American card also. See, if there's anything I can add to that message with that. So anyway, no. Okay, Adam has to clear his mind. Okay, this one. Thank you. And this is the Trapper. Let me see. This is what this looks like. This is the Native American tarot. I need to put my specs on so that I look smart and can actually see this. The two. Oh, two of pipes. So what is that? What are pipes? Are that those rods or wands? Anyway, looking at the symbolism, I'm looking at this card, and one of the things that I'm saying is, for us, it's just be aware. There's a lot of scammers out there, so be a little bit hyper vigilant because it almost looks like this figure is kind of like looking over his shoulders, like he's taking something in a way, but at the same time, he's got like the animal, this his catch, what he trapped around his neck, basically, and our neck is really kind of our lifeline in a way, also, and he's kind of going off with it. So again, it's has that feeling about going within, you're gathering your resources. So make sure you have enough resources. It's fluid. I'm not saying anything's going to happen, but certainly, and Charity could expound on that also. But certainly, astrology and numerologically, there's a high potential for there to be a period where it's hard to get goods, services. Um, the supply lines may hit another wall. Again, we had this new variant of the pandemic, which also I predicted. If you ever want to check out my December Ascension updates, it's all there, and it's for better or for worse, it's all playing out. Um, so it's kind of like and this is a very almost like a lone card. There's no other figures in the card, so it's kind of like he's got what he needs. He's got his food. It's also around his neck, so he's got his warmth. He's got whatever shelter he can. He's on snowshoes, so it's the winter. The winter's the season of the night. It's the season of the north, which is about wisdom and what's hidden, and it just looks like he's finding a place to really hunker down and to really ride it out. So I think they're just saying, make sure you have stuff. Should there be a period where we can't get things, or the grid goes down or whatever, that you'll be able to survive it. Sometimes it's not just about comfort, but just surviving. So anyway, next on the agenda is Steve Farmer's totem animals. Oh, by the way, Tuesday at 11. I mean, you can see it anytime. I'm going to go on for my Ascension updates because they've shown me these breathing techniques that they're saying that we really need to have in order to ascend gracefully, because part of Ascension is higher frequencies of energy going through the body and the auric bodies. Our auroras are basically a torus, which is a sacred geometry that links the 3 dimension with the higher dimension. So so in the 4th dimension, is cracking the code of time and being able to crack the time space continuum. But once you get to the 5th dimension and higher, the 3-dimensional human brain is not able to perceive. We can't perceive beyond that dimension with our human mind. We have to be in our spirit to be able to perceive dimensions 5 through 11, and then but sacred geometry can help get us there. Anyway, this is the one that they picked. Blue heron. We've gotten blue heron before, and I see them by the Esopus Creek here, so I see them sometimes as well. And make a stand for what you believe in and do what feels right in spite of any judgment or disapproval from others. So we talked about this. So this again, this is just reinforcing the message of the day, or the message of the week, so to speak. I mean, they're beautiful birds. They tend to fly or be around water, so they're of the air. Air is of thought. Air is of thought, I say consciousness. Waters of emotion and feeling. So the herons often they sit on the water. So so it's really like part of their message, I feel anyway, is really balancing your thought and emotion. So our thoughts carry energy, our emotions carry energy. When you're able to harmonize them, you can create an effect that vibrates in the quantum field and changes physical reality. And again, if somebody, I was saying this on somebody's, could I go on to other YouTube channels, and I watch other videos, and I comment, and I was talking about this, and somebody was accusing me being a victim of the Blu-ray programming. It's funny that I have a blue heron, which is basically like there's a theory that the New Agers are all programmed to have these crazy weird ideas or whatever. And I was like, I'm talking about quantum physics. That's all an over 100-year-old science here. But anyway, be that as it may, the idea is that, okay, I'm putting myself out there. I'm going to get negative judgment. I'm going to get disapproval. You know what? I'm over it. And you guys need to be over it also. You don't seek it, because, who wants to be in psychic battles like every day of their life? But don't be afraid, if you encounter it, basically. So anyway, moving right along. Last but not least is our angel message of the day. I just wanted to peek at what you guys are saying. Yes, yes. Yes, blue herons. Oh, okay. So about the warriors. Thank you. So that's helpful also. Emotional intelligence once again. Or the agenda there very much. Yeah, yeah. People are going to wake up. Yeah, they are already. Um, there's conspiracies and there's conspiracies. I'm interested in the conspiracies, not so much the theories because they're unproven, and because I know, or at least I'm pretty sure that many of these conspiracy theories are smokescreens to the true agendas or the true conspiracies that are going on. There's a conspiracy, absolutely, and you follow the money, follow the corrupt flow of power. Always has been, but hopefully won't always be, small groups of people trying to control larger groups of people. That's been part of human evolution for the last 3,000 years, give or take. We're coming into a new level, so hopefully we'll be able to begin abolishing that over time, that whole mentality. With that, okay, so tuning into the angelic realm. We have Teresa. I've just talked about Mother Teresa recently, so that's interesting. She came up. Time out. It's how often does it happen that when we do these tarot times, that all the different divination tools that I use, 4 different ones, they all have the same message. Time out. You've been so busy taking care of everyone else's needs, but now it's time to stop and take care of yourself. Now, important message there. Sometimes we take care of other people's needs because we're compassionate or whatever. Other times it's because we're either people pleasing or we're seeking approval. So sometimes people are so about taking care of other people's needs because they need to feel that high of people saying, "Oh, you're such a beautiful person. You're so kind," or whatever. So again, this is about opening the heart and really giving from the heart, not from the ego. Big difference there. And you can never get there until you start to take the best care of yourself. When you start to sacrifice yourself for taking care of others, then you're in your ego. You're not in your heart, because your heart tells you need to be strong, you need to be healthy, you need to be whole in order to really be there for other people, not just on the surface, but to really be there for other people. So anyway, that's what I have for you guys today. So tonight at 7, we are doing a very high energy vibe transmission. The 1212 portals are open. And I explained that at the beginning, so I'm not going to repeat myself, exactly what that means, but they're pathways to higher consciousness. And it's the darkest time of the year. So this is really the time we can really go into the night in order to create a new day. So this is a very important, 9 days coming up, 12/12, right up to the solstice. So we're going to do 3 separate energy transmissions and light code activations. The light code activations, basically, they're genetic coding. I personally believe that it's from our alien ancestors, that we've been encoded in our DNA. And when the codes activate, it's because our energy threshold reached a certain level that we're ready for our next phase of evolution. So when we have awakening, we really have these light code activations. So a good example is some when you start to become psychic beyond what would be normal human intuition, then a light code is activated, a power or a gift that not everybody is aware of or everybody has, or the ability to heal yourselves and others. And it goes into the miraculous. So once we really activate all of our light codes, or a good portion of them, we really exhibit superhuman behavior, like Jesus did walk on water and change water into wine. Um, there's certain miracles that are said to be superhuman. Like the martial arts master, they can get stabbed with a sharpened sword and knife and have the knife break. Basically, that's an example of that person activated those light codes to be able to do that. Like the sun dancers, and the Lakota Nation doing Sundance, hanging from a tree by a hook from their back for 4 days with no food or water, and on top of that, doing sweat lodge before and after the event. That is tapping into that superhuman potential. So this is what light code activation is really about. We have these abilities as humans we're not aware of, but we have to raise our vibration and frequencies to a certain level before they flip on. So when I do the light code activations, my guides work with me and assist you in reaching that threshold so that your light codes can flip on and you can start to become aware of your superhuman abilities also, and start to exhibit them and start to utilize them for your highest good and the highest good of the world around you. So anyway, I think I explained that pretty well. I can take my smart glasses off. Oh. All right. And anyway, you always have your sense of humor. Laughter is the best medicine. And I love you. Thanks for joining me. And see you next time.